Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, one of the most important questions for global release of Tarisland: how to pick your class. In this video dedicated to that topic, I will show you huge diversity, overall 9 classes which you can play in this game. I will show you my experience with these classes, and on that way I hope I will help you that you'll be able to make better choice which class to play as your main in this beautiful new upcoming MMORPG. Before we start, let me just say, subscribe to my YouTube channel to see more of Tarisland videos in the future. As you can see, I'm already here playing Tarisland during final beta test, so let's use this opportunity to study different classes and to help you regarding pick of your class. First thing which you need to decide is which role you want to play. Do you want to be DPS, tank or healer? Yes, this is Holy Trinity kind of game. We have in this game healers, tanks and DPS. Very positive situation is that you can actually pick between 2 setups of skills for each one of these classes. So some of these classes you can play as tank and DPS, some of these classes you can play as healer and DPS, but you will see that in the next few minutes. Let's start this evening with warrior. Extraordinary, right? So warrior you can play as tank or melee DPS. Obviously main weapons, right, of this class are swords, and I can tell you from my experience, I did try to play all the classes of Tarisland, just to make that clear. I had the opportunity to play Tarisland during closed beta test 1, closed beta test 2 and final beta, so I can manage to play all the classes. I was lucky enough. Big thank you to Level Infinite to inviting me to different kind of beta tests so I can show you this video, right, and to make your choice easier regarding classes. Now, warrior, I didn't play as tank. I can play as melee DPS, and it was actually a really amazing experience. There is one specific skill, AoE skill, I love it. You are able to do AoE damage and move with your character at the same time, so you're not static. These classes, basically all the classes, you can move while you attack. So you're not standing in one point, right, in one spot while you're attacking. Warrior feels amazing. Absolutely, if you like to play warrior kind of classes, this is it. This is it, right? Regarding tank, I cannot tell you because I didn't play as a tank. Nevertheless, absolutely, also this class is viable as a tank. As a damage, pretty decent damage. This class can develop really decent damage. Let's go forward with Barbarian Fighter. This class I have played during closed beta test 1 as my main class. You can play it as a tank or melee DPS. Of course, I can play it as a melee DPS, and it was actually really good experience. Under the fingers, Barbarian Fighter feels amazing. This will be one of the favorite classes of Tarisland players, without any doubt. Not only because it's looking like this, check this out, right? Looking amazing. Also double axes as main weapons and huge diversity of beautiful skills to play are main designations of this class. So Barbarian Fighter, very decent high DPS output. In PvP, viable to some point. It's a problem a little bit because this is not a range class, right? Range classes have some advantage in PvP to some point. In 10 versus 10 battlefield, I was few times in situation where I was needing to chase my target. That was a little bit awkward, but in generally, in PvE content, in dungeons, right, DPS, which is this character developing, is really good. So Barbarian Fighter, I would say, in generally, don't get me wrong, each class of Tarisland is very enjoyable to play, but this class is something really special. I can highly recommend to you Barbarian Fighter if you want to play melee DPS. Let's go forward with Mage. Beautiful, right? One of the first classes which I have played in Tarisland during closed beta test 1, actually after Barbarian Fighter, was Mage. You have 2 setups of skills, one is frost, one is fire. They are different. I'm preparing special video on my YouTube channel regarding this class to explain differences. Nevertheless, this class you can play as a range DPS. What to say about Mage? It's one standard sorcerer kind of class. If you enjoy to play magical kind of classes with high DPS, with nice burst, very nice burst. Also, there are some CC skills, especially in a frost state, in a frost set of skills, you will enjoy in playing Mage. So, you will pick Mage usually if you play in MMORPG, sorcerer kind of classes. Does it feel squishy? Not really. To be honest, not really. I was expecting that Mage will feel much more squishier, but it's not. It feels actually pretty good regarding defense. However, like I said, this is DPS, range DPS. Check Mage if you enjoy to play sorcerer kind of classes in MMORPGs. Both of these setups, Frost and Fire, are viable to play. It's up to you entirely what you want to play. I would say that a little bit maybe Frost kind of setup is moving a little bit more into CC direction. However, Mage regarding Fire setup is moving more into burst damage kind of direction. Let's go forward with Paladin. Of course, we have Paladin, Tarisland. Look at this hammer and shield, right? As one real Paladin, what to say about this class, except you can see here on the right side of my screen, you can play this class as a tank and melee DPS. I can play it as a melee DPS. I didn't tank with this class, so I will not talk about that much. However, I can tell you, surprisingly, not only in PvE, but in PvP, this class feels very powerful. Also, regarding damage output, you'll be surprised. You would say, come on, it's a Paladin, right? It will not make much damage. It will. It will. Very viable in PvP. In some moments, it feels a little bit broken in PvP. That's a topic for another video. If you like to play PvP, try Paladin. Even that is a melee DPS, not a range DPS, right? Obviously, it's a very powerful class in generally. So, if you want to play Paladin kind of class, right, with very high tanking abilities, very nice damage output, you will play Paladin. Let's go forward with what do we have here? Priest. What to say about Priest? One of the main healers of this game. There is also Bard and Necromancer class. They can also heal. And you will notice here, very interesting, right? You can play Priest on damage setup, right, of skills. So you will not need to play Priest only as a healer. You can very easily switch between two setup of skills, right? You can switch to DPS. Is it really high DPS? Not that much as a ranger, for example, absolutely not. Nevertheless, very enjoyable to play. During final test, I will play this class as a DPS. And I will let you know how does it feel as DPS, even that this is a priest. So, if you want to heal in Tarisland, pick priest. There are two other options, Bard and Necromancer. I'll talk a little bit later about these classes. Nevertheless, one real healer of Tarisland, priest. Let's go forward with Shadow Swordsman. Assassin? Yes. Even that I have to admit, this is obviously here damage, melee damage kind of class. There is no tanking tree or healing tree for this class. This is Assassin of Tarisland. Even that I have to admit, in some moments it doesn't feel like Assassin. I was expecting a little bit more from this class. I can't say that I have enjoyed that much. It's purely subjective. Like I have said, I have tried to play it. It doesn't feel entirely like Assassin. It feels like another brand of warrior more than Assassin. Nevertheless, absolutely, this is Assassin of Tarisland. Two skill trees, right? Both of these skill trees are damage skill trees. Very nice damage output, very high damage output. Nevertheless, I will still put a ranger regarding damage above this Assassin class. So if you want to play Assassin, melee DPS, check Shadow Swordsman. Let's go forward with a ranger. Look at this. Extraordinary, right? I mean, how not to be excited when you see beautiful class like this. So ranger. Range DPS, absolutely. You cannot tank or heal with this class. You have two skill trees. You have Hunt and you have Tamer skill tree. Both of these skill trees I can try. They feel both amazing. Regarding DPS output, if you want to play damage kind of class, range damage kind of class, with maybe currently, just maybe, the highest damage output in the game, you'll pick Ranger. Other than that, it feels like real Ranger. I just recently said that Shadow Swordsman doesn't feel like Assassin, entirely like Assassin. This class, Ranger, right, it really feels like Ranger. So, very high mobility, very nice damage output, and under the fingers, very enjoyable to play. Let's go forward with Bard. See a little bit of skill animation, how it's looking. Bard, you can play as healer or range DPS. You can see here on the right side of my screen. I didn't play as healer. I have to be honest here, I didn't. I have played as a range DPS, and actually it was really good. It's not one of the highest DPS in the game. Absolutely not. If you want to play this class, you might play as a healer. Nevertheless, if you have played Bard in some other games, then you know what it is. Bard is really feeling like a Bard in this game. Another nice addition to, basically you can switch also between a range DPS, right, and healer role whenever you want in the game. It's very easy, right? So check it out. Bard also exists in Tarisland. Let's go forward with one of my favorite classes, Phantom Necro, Necromancer. Check this out. Amazing, right? Extraordinary class. Probably my main class for global release of Tarisland. Now, this class you can play as healer or range DPS. I did play a little bit as healer and I wasn't impressed. Can you heal? Yes, you can. But I always have feeling that priest, even bard, can heal better. But range DPS on this class is amazing. You have a feeling that you are playing some kind of mage, sorcerer type of class. Very nice skills, beautiful skill animations, and very fast-paced combat are main designations of Phantom Necro. Probably, like I said, I'll play this class as my main class. Pick this class as another option as a range DPS. Regarding healing, absolutely, you can do that. You can switch between two setups, right, of skills very fast, between DPS and healer. You can do that. However, in my opinion, this would be very nice class to play if you want to play range DPS. So, on the start of your journey in Tarisland, you will need to pick a class. 9 classes. That's amazing, right? And like I said, you need to decide role which you want to play. If you want to play tank, well, you can be Paladin. Absolutely right. Or maybe warrior. That is also a viable option. Another option as a tank, Barbarian Fighter. If you want to play healer, you'll pick not Mage. You'll pick this class here, Priest. Probably the best healer in the game. Other options would be Bard and Necromancer. If you want to play high damage class, absolutely Ranger or maybe Mage. That would be also a good option. Nevertheless, I cannot ignore damage of Paladin or even Warrior. Absolutely, they are viable. And on the other hand, when I'm thinking a little bit more about damage classes, Phantom Necro felt very, very good. On DPS meter, usually in the game, you have on the right upper corner DPS meter. You'll notice Phantom Necro is very high. Also, I can say that I can enjoy that much in gameplay of Shadow Swordsman. Like Assassin class, you will have very nice damage output like Shadow Swordsman. So guys, this will be my take on classes of Tarisland. I hope I have managed to help you with this video, how to easier pick your class in this beautiful new upcoming MMORPG. In generally, all depends on your gameplay style. What do you want to play? What kind of role? DPS, melee DPS, range DPS, healer, tank, what do you want to play? But in general, gameplay of all of these classes under the fingers feels amazing. On the end, you need to decide what is the best for you. You need to try it under the fingers. How does it feel for you? It doesn't need to mean if something is feeling good under the fingers for me that you will like it. Nevertheless, you have now clear vision, clear perspective, which classes with which roles are available in Tarisland. Thank you for watching the video. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Twitch, and see you soon with another Tarisland video.